This is my presentation on digital collaboration in the classroom, what I've learned from the different articles that I've read, and what I plan to implement in my future classroom. From Article 1, I've learned that it is important to choose the right tools when picking different technology platforms for your classroom. It's important to know which ones are going to work based on your students. It's also important to model and scaffold, showcasing what is expected of the students so that they know what they need to be doing. Design meaningful tasks that engage students and excite them to learn. Monitor and facilitate what they're doing, making sure that they're on task and um, achieving the goals that are set for them. Celebrate and share, celebrate the successes of the students and making sure to share with other teachers. This is just like collaborating with the world, making sure that you're sharing what works for you, just because it might work for them. And it's also a big one to keep learning because there's always new things out there and different things might come along that work better for your classroom. From Article 2, the key concepts that I took away from this article were that digital collaboration in the classroom leads to students developing professional skills such as communication that they can use later in life. This is a big one because when they're working with others and using technology, it will build the skills that they need later in life. So it's just setting them up for success. From Article 3, the big takeaways that I took was that a great strategy to use when using technology in the classroom is by creating table groups where students can work together to learn the material based upon their level in the curriculum. This just allows them to get used to talking with their peers and asking their peers for help and just building that strong community amongst themselves. From Article 4, I learned another strategy by using podcasts to incorporate technology into the classroom in a way to bring in collaboration. So you can assign podcasts to small groups where they have to create presentation upon what they learned and they have to share that with the rest of the class. The big takeaways that I had from Article 5 were some really good strategies that to use to promote digital collaboration in the classroom. A big one that I took away that I plan to implement in my future classroom is to not grade my students based upon the group, but by themselves individually. This will just keep everything fair and based on the work that they completed and how well that they've worked in a group and with others. For this process, I took a Google e-course for educators. So I learned many different ways to incorporate technology through Google and just the ways that Google can help with collaboration amongst students. I learned about the many different platforms that teachers can use to foster collaboration. These include Google Slides, Google Docs, Google Meet, Gmail, Google Keep, Jamboard, etc. The list would go on and on. There's so many different resources that Google has for collaboration. Another one that I didn't list is Google Classroom. That way, everything is just all together and easy for you to use as a teacher. Anyway, most resources that are Google can be shared with others. So, because of the shareability of Google, it is one of the best tools to use when trying to foster collaboration amongst students. Not only is Google great for collaboration, but it is also very easy to use. Because modeling is so pivotal for students, Google really makes it easy because I can just show them how to use the different tools through the resources with Google, and most of them are the same across the platform. So I don't have to keep re-teaching and modeling for my students. They've just gotten really comfortable with using it. So it's a great tool to use. Also, I can create templates for my students so that they can just make a copy and make it their own. This makes it easy for them, and all the expectations and the criteria that I'm grading them on is already right there for them. There are many different project ideas that I can use in the future with Google. Some ideas include presentation, group discussion, group writings, such as like working on essays together or working on different blog posts or article posts that they can use through Google Docs. Videos by creating presentations and then creating a video of that presentation, kind of like what I'm doing right now. And another one is podcast, by creating a script through Google Docs that they're sharing and interacting with, and then speaking from what they wrote down. Overall, Google is a great resource to use for collaboration. There are just so many tools that you can use and implement into your classroom that makes it so easy for the students to work with each other and have everything on hand. In conclusion, technology is a great way to promote collaboration in the classroom. It is important to find different platforms, services, and assignments that work for you in your classroom, making sure that the different technology platforms that you use are working for your students so that you are improving their learning instead of hurting it in a negative way. Some things that I plan to on incorporating in my future classroom is different Google platforms, and this just goes back to using Google Classroom, Google Slides, Google Docs, just to make it easy for my students to collaborate and share their ideas through a digital tool. Overall, I have learned many different ways to incorporate technology into my future lesson plans to build a strong digital classroom amongst my students. I plan to use the skills that I've developed to create engaging assignments to promote the learning of my students. A big one that I think is super important and a fun idea for my classroom is podcasts. I think it's just a fun way to keep the students engaged, and it gives them a lot of freedom and a lot of creativity, and it builds on their communicating and critical thinking skills. So overall, I just think it's a great way to um, incorporate a lesson that will keep the students engaged and foster that collaboration that is so important in the classroom.